We are delighted to have you all here as we continue celebrating stories, ideas, and meaningful conversations together. It is a privilege to introduce our first panel member, Dr. Kutti Revathi, a poet, lyricist, filmmaker, activist, and trained Siddha doctor whose work has had a profound impact on contemporary Tamil literature. Widely regarded as one of the most powerful feminist voices in Tamil poetry, her writing explores themes of the female body, identity, gender politics, and social oppression. Her poetry collections, including Mullaigal, have received high acclaim for exploring female body autonomy and freedom of expression. She is also the founder and editor of Panikudam, the first Tamil literary female magazine. She has written lyrics for the film Marian and has also directed films such as Siragu. She is also a recipient of the Faces of the Future Award for Literature from India Today.
So it is our pleasure to introduce our next panel member, Ms. Sharanya Manivannan, an award-winning author, poet, columnist, and illustrator whose work spans fiction, poetry, essays, children's literature, and graphic storytelling. Her writing often reflects themes of diaspora identity, cultural memory, feminism, mythology, and spirituality. She is also widely known for her long-running column, Venus Flytrap, in the New Indian Express. Her notable works include the celebrated novel, The Queen of Jasmine Country, which reimagines the life of the Tamil poet Saint Andal through a contemporary feminist lens. Her poetry collections, including The Altar of the Only World and her graphic novel, Incantations Over Water, further showcase her ability to blend literature, mythology, and visual storytelling. Her work has received several honors, including the South Asia Ladli Award.
I'm delighted to introduce the next panel member, Mr. Sarjun K, a filmmaker known for his bold storytelling and distinctive voice in contemporary Indian cinema. He began his journey as a former associate of the renowned director Mani Ratnam and post-production head for the epic films Ponniyin Selvan 1 and Ponniyin Selvan 2. He first gained widespread attention through his impactful short films Lakshmi and Ma, and he later directed feature films such as Echarikai and Aira, and has also worked extensively on OTT platforms with projects including Navarasa, Blood Money, Burka, and Sulal, The Vortex Season 2. Known for his belief that cinema should not only entertain but also provoke thought and conversation, Mr. Sarjun's work consistently explores complex human experiences and social realities.
So on to our final panel member, Ms. Srijani Mitra, a poet and a writer whose work gently illuminates the quiet spaces of human experience, the moments between what is spoken and what lingers in silence. Through her poetry, she reflects on themes of memory, longing, displacement, hope, nostalgia, queer community, and the deeply personal nature of remembrance, revealing the extraordinary within every day. Her work has been published in several respected literary platforms, including the English Journal of Sahitya Academy, Madras Courier, Moderator Quarterly, and the London Reader. She has also been a featured speaker at the Mangalore Lit Fest and has conducted poetry workshops, inspiring and mentoring aspiring writers.
It is my pleasure to introduce Mr. J. Sam Daniel Stalin, an award-winning senior television journalist and one of the most respected voices in Indian broadcast media. With over 25 years of experience in journalism, Mr. Sam currently serves as the Chennai Bureau Chief of NDTV Chennai, where he has played a key role in strengthening the network's reporting from South India. Known for his credible, ethical, and impactful journalism, many of Mr. Sam's reports have brought relief to affected communities and even prompted government action. Over the course of his distinguished career, Mr. Sam was among the first journalists to report from Ground Zero in Nagapattinam during the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami. Mr. Sam has covered 9 major elections, interviewed prominent political leaders, reported from countries across the United States and Europe, and is also a recipient of the Excellence Leadership Award in Electronic Media. Mr. Sam has also mentored dozens of aspiring journalists and spoken at TEDx events. We are honored to have someone with such vast experience in journalism and public discourse guiding today's conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our panelists and moderator today. Thank you.
Are we good to go? Thank you very much for your kind words and a very warm welcome to my wonderful panelists. Thank you very much for your time. Over the next 45 minutes, I plan to take you on a journey, perhaps talking about how literature, in a sense, is it reflecting public conscience? And then we'll also go into whether literature is emerging to cater to the new voices of India as India aims to become a kind of a developed nation in the decades to come. If I can begin with you, Sharanya, do you believe literature today genuinely reflects the public conscience? If you can share it briefly with examples from your work.
Thank you for the question, Sam, and it's an honor to be here. Thank you so much for spending time with us this afternoon. To respond to whether literature reflects public conscience, we have to remember that many kinds of people with many ideologies produce literature. So when we talk about does it reflect what happens in society? Yes, in the sense that it can hold up a mirror to the ugliness. It can, as a result, influence individual thinking and possibly collective thinking. And that is the hope of people who have progressive ideologies, who wish to see development, but not necessarily development as named by the authorities, but a development that is inclusive, that is truly accountable, and cares about the environment, as well as marginalized people, and encourages diversity and inclusivity overall, rather than monolithic identity. So in that sense, certainly literature does that. Should it do that? That's not the only role of any form of art.
Kutti Revathi, if I can come to you, how important in your view for literature to reflect public conscience, and as an author, as a poet, how do you ensure that?
Yeah, thank you for this question first, Sam, and good evening to all. And I think literature has been as public conscience, that's why it is called literature, I believe. And I wish to give a strong emphasis on that. Women have given more contributions to that part of literature, I would believe. If at all, it has to be as public conscience, I think. And they had reflected, they had reformed, they have even kept it as an archive, cultural archive, social archive, and political archive through their writings. And it has been, if you want to talk about developed India or new India, you cannot picturize India without women writings that those have stood for public conscience, I would say.
Does fiction genuinely reflect public conscience?
Yeah, those who are writing sincerely, like Mahasweta Devi and Arundhati Roy, and here from Tamil, extraordinary writers, Sivagami, Bama, they have been writing from their first word and till today. They have been writing as a witness of everything. They haven't stood back, or they haven't aimed for recognitions from the society. They have been the voice of marginalized indigenous communities. They have literally broken the systemic violence that had been executed on women under the form of caste, gender, and families. So it has been, they have done.
Sarjun, if I can come to you, you are known to be a filmmaker who enjoys and is passionate about storytelling than merely entertaining film audiences. Your film Echarikai, Idu Manithargal Vaazhum talks about domestic violence. How important to reflect such common issues in films?
I would say that cinema is one of the art forms where you can express both in the raw form of your own conscience. At the same time, cinema is also an entertainment medium here. It's both. So there are filmmakers who choose this, or there are filmmakers who choose that, but there are also filmmakers who choose both.
Right.
So the best example I would give is my own boss, where I used to be, I used to work for Mr. Manivannan. So if you take his graph of films, where he would have tried to balance both to an extent, and he's the only filmmaker who has been in the industry for the past 30-40 years with lots of ups and downs. So when you take that route, where you want to tell something that you have inside, at the same time it should reach the mass audience, it's actually a risky route. It's not an easy route.
Commercially?
Yes, commercially. Commercially also. So there is always a chance that you keep getting backfired, or there is a chance that it works. Or if you want to take a safe place, you leave this and then go completely on the entertainment side.
So be it domestic violence, be it the Barka story, what makes you decide, okay, let's do this?
So I'm glad that you're talking about the subjects that I have made with a lot of struggle. And I have made other works also where that came to me as an opportunity.
Right.
But what we are talking here is what I did something before 7 or 8 years, both the short films or Burqa, whatever. So I started understanding that, so when I want to raise my voice through the art form, it is always noticed. And these subjects, whatever you're saying, these are not something that were planned. They were not planned over a long period of time and then they were done. It's just that even my indie film, Burqa, it's about a particular Muslim household, a particular custom that I have spoken, which led to a lot of controversy, of course. So that idea was something that came to me because it happened in my own house. I just wanted to reflect something that happened in my family, in my household, and that is what I turned into a film. But coming to it, it was not easy to make, it was not easy to sell. It was very difficult. It was a struggle. So I would say that they are not examples, but they are just exceptions.
Did it do well at the box office?
No, it was not. No, I did not make it for theater at all. I couldn't make it for theater. You cannot make such subjects for theater.
Right.
It's impossible. So I knew it. So I made it from my own pocket. It's our money, and we did not get it back. But we wanted to say something strong out there, and we did it.
Srijani, your poetry often represents spiritual subjects and also psychology and culture. What kind of resonance you have now among the contemporary audience?
Thank you so much for the question, and I'm very grateful to be here. I think the contemporary audience, it has a lot to do with inclusivity nowadays. So I think mental health is something that I talk about in my poetry. Psychology especially has made me learn a lot about mental health issues. So I portray that in my poetry, and also the social issues, the cultural issues. So all of that is there in my poetry. So that resonates with the audience because I talk about inclusivity, I talk about accessibility, I talk about the things that are concerns of many youth and many young adults, but they don't have the right to speak it up at that point of time in their family perhaps. So I talk from that particular perspective. So I think that resonates with the audience in a way, and especially I want to focus on psychological issues because this is a taboo in India even today. So that is something which I focus on in my writing, and that taboo is something I want to break. I want to tell people about what are the different mental health issues that are there, what are the concerns of people. You cannot tag someone as psychiatric, you cannot tag someone as mad. What is the idea behind that? So that would deeply resonate with the contemporary audience, I believe.
Let's talk about spirituality, your poetry on this subject. How important in this era?
I think it's important in this era to talk about spirituality because it has to do with the spirit, and it shouldn't be something beyond the sensuality. It shouldn't be something which is beyond sensuality. It is within ourselves. It is around us. So I don't consider spirituality to be something very different, something very exotic. It is around us. It is within us. So realizing that the sensual can also be spiritual is something which I consider very important. So some people would tag spirituality as a particular phase where you have to be esoteric, or you have to like be someone who is not erotic or who is not normal human. But in my writing, I focus on that very aspect of spirituality where all of us are humans and yet we talk of something which is spiritual. So it's about understanding the spirit, empathizing with ourselves.
Kutti Revathi, your work is also known to explore women's body. Your collection, your poem called Mulaigal, Breasts, that had touched a raw nerve, particularly the conservatives were quite up against you.
Okay.
Why do you think that is also an important form of literature? And what was your idea behind that?
Okay. I began my writing journey from there, from Breasts. Because, I realized at one point of my life, our bodies are very objectified. How they are objectified through our life. That's how I began my writing. That idea was there in me, for a long time, because I'm a Siddha doctor, how when you encounter the external world, how women bodies shrunk, get shrunk. But through this, I have been writing for 25 years, Sam. Now I see how even men's bodies are objectified under the system of caste, gender, and how this system is fabricated very tightly. And if you even shake it lightly, you will face a kind of strong violence from the society. In India, our society is, you will realize only when you do something, when you create something through film or writing, when you express yourself through an art form only, you will know how strong you are part of a system. This oppressive, it is not a very privileged system, I would say. You are part of an oppressive system of caste, gender, religion, everything. In India especially. So, these days it becomes a fashionable thing. You can see, you've been in the media all these years. You can see, in the front page of the newspaper, you could see the lovers, male and female, could be hanged in trees for falling in love, with the different castes. It is a shame for our country. See how they have become an imagery, metaphor of 21st century. We have been so evolved through our, we have become more civilized. We have taken the language as a tool of, art, and we have transformed so much in this, after our independence and things. But we haven't, our inner, the system, the intricate system of violence hasn't been changed a bit, a brick. A brick is not being removed from that system, I would say.
Sharanya, let's talk about the new voices now. Unlike poets, short story writers, and novelists, you contribute on a regular basis to Indian Express. You have your own column. Does that help you to be more connected with the present, to be more actively reflecting public conscience in that sense?
I consider it a privilege to have a platform in this day and age where I get to write about current affairs from a feminist perspective, from an intersectional feminist perspective. While I am also a novelist, a short story writer, a poet, an illustrator, this medium of writing a 525-word column every week is something that challenges me and forces me to think and react at the same time. Whereas if I was to have, as I do have, socio-political themes in my work, usually that percolates in me for years and it evolves as well. I think that as a medium, it's entirely different, but its political crux is still the same as in my other works.
Sarjun, we live in an era of shorts and reels, and the formats are also rapidly changing. Digital, everything is becoming digital now. Where do you think the film as a medium, the film industry as a medium is heading towards? We have OTT platforms now. The next 10 years, or how? What's the big change we're expecting, are we looking forward to?
I think it's very, very difficult to anticipate what is going to come after this, because and as we are talking inside, so 20 years back or 30 years back, we were able to say that this is 80s cinema, or this is 90s cinema, this is 70s cinema. Now you can't say that, because at that time, every 10 or 12 years, a director comes in and then he does something completely out of box and extraordinary and changes the pattern, and then after that, all the films go in that route for the next 10-15 years. But now, the last, I would say, 5-6 years, or the last decade, things have started changing every 3 years or 4 years. Max 5 years. So you make a film now, it will not work after 3 years or 4 years. So it's rapidly changing, because the way people see cinema is also changing. Before, we used to go in search of what we want to see.
Right.
But now we are being fed of what we should see. So there's a difference. So when that happens, automatically a kind of comparison starts developing in your mind. I've seen this, why is it not better than this? I've seen that, why is this not better than that? So you keep feeding people continuously, and that will lead to a point where we will absolutely lose our ability to appreciate actual good cinema, and which is what is happening now. And it is going to spiral down more. It is going to go definitely more worse. But I have the hope somewhere. I mean, once I just read an article once Scorsese said, Martin Scorsese. So he wrote a letter where he said that, see, the technology is changing now. I just tell the crux. The technology is changing now, and you can make films in your mobile, and anybody can make a film, anybody can tell a story. But trust me, only in the end, what matters is the story. It's not about the tool that you're going to use. So what is more alarming now is the tools are increasing, the avenues are increasing, but actually the core and the soul of what needs to be told out, that is not being taken seriously. We are getting carried away by the avenues. We are getting carried away by reels, mobiles, and then now they have got into a thing called long format of 100 episodes of 1 minute each, vertical videos.
Right.
So even I was asked to make if I have anything. So they know that people's attention are going down, and they need to bank on that. And if you have to bank on that, instead of making them understand that long format is the right one, I mean, that has been there, that is actual cinema. No, but instead we are changing the form of cinema into short videos, and then that, if that is what is going to become that way, eventually we have to adapt. I'm not saying that we should not, but still somewhere, as a filmmaker, I have a hope that the long format, the big theater experience cinema will still survive even among all these other things.
Very good. Srijani, in this era of technology taking over, how important to give space for queer literature, LGBT, something you are proud about your writing?
Yes, so I think it's very important to talk about inclusivity, as technology is something which is taking up, and AI can write poetry nowadays. So about human authenticity, I think it's very important that the queer voices and the feminism is being focused upon. So that is something very important, that we include all the voices. And I am very proud of talking about the LGBTQ community, because I think that feminism is not separate from that. I am a feminist, and I want to talk about the different literatures, the different identities we have, the lived realities of people. So I think that's very important in this growing technological world, and we need to focus on authenticity. We need to focus on what we are empathizing with, what we are at the moment. So that is where my literature comes in. It's mostly about catharsis. It's also about the social issues and structures that define us.
I'm going to ask all of you, there are so many young audience here. They love literature, but sometimes it takes a long time for them to understand the craft of transforming from an idea to give it a good shape, to make it a poem, a short story, a novel, or a short film, or a film. So from your experience, can you give them some tips very briefly, if they could follow that to give shape to their creative literary ideas?
I think for poetry, it's mostly about the image, the thought, and the emotion. It is about catharsis. It's also about keeping the restraint in you. It is about being vulnerable, but at the same time, it's also about knowing where to keep the pause. So it's mostly about your catharsis.
So they keep writing?
Yes, they should keep writing. They should always keep writing and practicing the art of writing all the time. So I think that's very important. All of us are writers in the going. We are writing and writing.
For the new age potential literary writers or artists, where should they publish it to begin with? Is social media okay, or do they go for established publishers? How do you think? What will be a recommendation?
It depends on them. It's starting out from social media perhaps, and then researching a lot about if they want their work to be really published. It's about researching on the different platforms that publish the work that they want to actually write in. The niche publishers, or the publishers who are talking about stuff like environmental consciousness, maybe mental health, and they are interested in that, they can publish in such magazines. I think it's a mix of online and established literary journals, so it's about their own choice.
Sarjun?
I think I'll ask, if they want to become filmmakers, I would ask them to first and foremost thing to start with is read.
Right.
So if you read, you will pass the queue very quick, because nobody reads. Very less people read. Reading is not an easy thing. Consistent reading is not an easy thing. But I would say that there are two sides for filmmaking for the youngsters. This is only a part where you get yourself ready for the race. The race is big. The race is difficult. So you get the audience ready for the race. To get yourself ready for the race, you need to read, you need to know things before you write or present it to someone. But after that, presenting is completely a different ball game. So that is a different topic for a different day. So I would say that to start with, right now, when I spoke a few minutes back, I said that the attention span of people are going down. So the only way, if you don't want to be one of the crowd here and pass and come in the front, increase your attention span, which is also through reading. And the more you read, the more you expand mentally, you get yourself ready.
Right.
And then at some point, you'll get your chance to present your work.
Very good. Sharanya?
Whenever we speak of art and art making, a very important component that is left out of the discussion is money. Unfortunately, we live in a capitalist world, and progressive writers and thinkers and progressive people in public life are trying to change that. But if you have an art form that you are passionate about, you have to be realistic about how it will move in the world or not. You cannot let public reception impact how you feel about your own work and your desire to create it. In order to have longevity in what may or may not be a career, but is certainly a calling, you have to have a space which is absolutely sacred within yourself and is not touched by whether you make a living from what you do or how people respond to it. And this is really the only thing that I like to tell anyone in the arts, especially if they are from a younger generation. And please, you need a day job. I still do. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Yeah.
Thank you. Revathi?
Yeah. I go with this younger generation's intentions very much. I connect myself totally with them because they are the most privileged, for us. When we look back our, childhood and, school days, whatever we didn't get those days, it is very available, in front of our eyes. I go with what Sarjun said. They have to read.
Read what?
Literature. Because, you asked a right question. Film has a part of, entertainment as its norms. But literature doesn't have, I would say. It doesn't have any kind of, entertainment factors in it at all. Poetry, fiction or non-fiction. It is really, it cultivates your inner self. But you have to go for right books, as you meant. The thing is, somewhere we have to hold the responsibility for our country. We have to own the country. At the same time, we have to own ourselves. Then only you will find the right book. Because you are not going to read a book just to pass your time. You want something out of the book. You don't want to read a book just for the sake of reading it. You want to take the heart of the book and you want to eat it.
Right.
So for that, you have to be completely socially aware of the social history of the country and social history of yourself. It is very important. To know yourself is not that just spiritual or personal self. What the social history is hanging on your head is, you should be aware of it very much. Then only you can become part of, creative flow, I would say. And, whether it can be cinema, it can be literature. But the thing is, sorry? Okay. So it is, this generations would lead us. Maybe they have short span of time, Sarjun. But the thing is, the whole world of literature is open for them. The choice they have to make should be very personal. Personal means they have to keep their heart open to the entire world of cinema and the creative expressions all over the world. And, to find out the creative form also, they have to have a kind of, culture about it. They cannot go hold the phone and make a reel. Because we have to have the civilization of, we have 2000 years history of literature in Tamil. So you have to get exposed. You have to expand your intellect to be suitable for, able to create whatever you want to create.
Sarjun, if I can come to you, let's talk about India's journey to becoming a developed nation. Even now, there are challenges in releasing a film. As we speak now, Jananayagan has been held up in the CBFC since January. How important that we should develop a spirit of tolerance, a spirit to respect freedom of expression, to be really deserving to become a developed nation.
Honestly, there is absolutely no tolerance now, actually. There is no tolerance. I would say that there was tolerance 20 years, 30 years back, 50 years back, but people don't have tolerance now. Again, I would say that the reason is it's connected to what I spoke a few minutes back. People went in search of knowledge 30, 40 years back, so you go and pick what you want to know. Now it is not that way. You are fed. So once you are fed, automatically your opinions about things grow only from what you are fed, and not from what you go and search and then you learn and then you imbibe. So when that happens, you automatically get into the group of people and you get influenced by the people with the ideas that is followed or taken by a majority of people rather than where you form yours own inside. So and if you're saying that how is it going to change in the future, I guess that it is going to get worse. I honestly, I don't have an answer to say how and whether it will get better, because the more we go towards the more years pass by, and the more the lifestyle and the change, the lifestyle and people change here, the more they change, people stop thinking for themselves. That is the core. You don't think for yourself. When you stop thinking for yourself, automatically you become a part of the crowd, and the crowd's tolerance becomes your tolerance.
Right.
And you don't specifically separate a particular thing, let it be a movie or a writing or any form of art and expression. You don't separately take it from the crowd, keep it outside, analyze. You don't do it. You keep it inside the crowd and analyze, because you are brought up that way, because you are fed that way, because your opinions were formed that way. And it leads to more of intolerance. And and also that is only a very, very small part of a country becoming a developed country. It is not one of the major topics. I would say It is also, and it is a part, and there are 100 other things which are going to contribute for the country to develop. And in this aspect, because if you're going to compare this with other countries, you have conservatives in other countries also. People are intolerant there also for the forms of expressions there. Just that since our country, the population is too high, and we are out there everywhere in the world, so we are being seen with a magnified glass. Otherwise, the same thing is there in West also, just that the number is less.
Absolutely. Before we go for a question and answer session from the audience, I would ask both Srijani and Sharanya, in the journey towards India becoming a developed nation, what kind of changes ought to be done on the ground to make literature thrive?
So I think that in order to make literature thrive, the changes are supporting the creatives. I think that is something which is really important. So supporting the creatives is so important. There are not as many creative grants or as many creative opportunities in India as there are outside. And many Indians do not know of the grants which are there in the foreign places. So they must know from the local spaces. So India should give very identity to the creatives and the respect that the creatives deserve. So that way I think the nation would develop in its creativity as well. So giving respect to the creatives and giving respect to the poets and understanding poetry not as a niche field, or also respecting them is a way that India could really develop the creative space.
Thank you. Sharanya?
I'll just add to what Srijani said. In order to have more platforms, more funding, and many other kinds of support for the arts, an understanding of the importance of the arts, and acceptance that dissent is necessary in democracy has to be there. And that idea, that philosophy, unfortunately, is shrinking in our society, and as my co-panelist Sarjun said, that is because of opinions being fed and us not thinking them through and accepting them as our own. So the arts and literature can only develop if the development of the nation itself is better oriented. And I spoke on this a little bit earlier as well. Yeah.
Thank you. My last question is to Revathi and Sarjun. India has any number of women actresses, but when it comes to filmmakers or directors who make films, only a handful of women, you one of them. What stops you? Why don't you let women?
Nothing stops me, I would say. You know, when you started creating, when you started your journey as a creative, person when you started your journey. It is non-stoppable, you cannot stop the journey. But in cinema, the whole thing is like, as I said, it is very structured. And it doesn't allow women even to write poetry, fiction, and whatnot. Then the cinema is going to be another kind of domain. But I would say it doesn't stop me. Women have to create their own endeavors, I think. They try to always fit themselves into the boxes of men who have created. It's so patriarchal. It may look cliche, but it is so patriarchal everywhere. Even when you attempt literature or when you try to create something, then you try to adapt into the forms already existing. I think as a woman, as a different gender, I have to be for humanity. I cannot think about a war.
What stops many women from taking up filmmaking, mainstream filmmaking?
It is you need strenuous effort of reaching out to the forefront.
Women are in every other space.
Yeah, but it's not, here you have to work with a mass of talents. You can be, you want to say something? You can be talented. You can be a great director, but you have to know how to be able to work with other 24 departments of talent.
Is the industry not letting you, or it's an inhibition from the women themselves?
No, let us not say the industry stops. I don't want to go with that because I have seen what it is as a director. I think you have 100 stories in you to tell. Then nobody is going to stop you. First thing. Second thing is you have to know how to work with 24 departments of talents, and you have to know what kind of expanse cinema is. Cinema has a history of global history. It has, and as Sarjun said, it has. Every day you get multiple tools for it. But the core idea is what story you have inside you, and what is going to stop you to tell the story. If you are ready to tell the story, if you think you have a very precious story in you, nobody is going to stop you, nothing is going to stop you.
Surgeon?
I mean, the question for me again?
Why are you stopping women from filmmaking?
On a lighter note, my question is, not many women filmmakers in the industry, unlike so many actresses. Are you stopping women from entering?
So I would say that the industry itself is male dominant.
Right.
Number one.
I'm glad
It's male dominant, completely male dominant. Yeah, well, let's accept that. So why? Because it also goes to the cultural conditioning. It goes to not just now, but I'm saying even in the historic times. You take even Mahabharata or Ramayana, it's more male dominated than the characters that take the bigger decisions are the male characters. And so that is what has come throughout until now. I mean, even when you tell a story to a small baby, how do you say? You say that or urlo raja irna. You don't say or urlo rani irna armiki mattonda. So it also comes from the cultural conditioning. And when cinema was first when I'm saying 1920s, 30s, when it started emerging, the same conditioning came through here, and it led to the main people who run the business are male members. Again, it connects to the conditioning where previously we used to say that men are for, they go earn, they bring money, women are for supporting the family. So that has automatically imbibed into this big industry also, and it makes definitely a very difficult process for women to become filmmakers here. It is not easy. If 10 male members are trying to become a director, 50 female members have to try to attain the same number.
What kind of a different set of movies can women make if they...
No, but I'm glad that now things have started changing.
Yes.
Definitely. I mean, you have some really brilliant filmmakers, women filmmakers here. I mean, I don't even like saying women filmmakers, it's filmmakers, but yeah.
But let you say, Sarjun, because we want to say different things on screen. Because we won't be saying the same things what men have been telling all these times. We have different ideas.
No, but when it comes to telling stories, again it comes into the same box of mainstream business. Yes, I have 100 ideas to make, but I can make only when I put in my money. Going and convincing a director, first of all, going and getting an appointment from a producer, and then convincing a producer about a story where we both align, and then they decide to put in money. So that is a very long struggle. It's not an easy thing. And if you're very sure that I'm going to tell stories only from my heart, then you have to be ready for the battle. It's not easy.
That's right.
So you are going to be, you will go through a lot of ups and downs, hundreds of rejections, and if you are going to if you're still stronger, at some point you will be able to make, or you'll never be able to make.
The filmmaker who made Parashakti, Surarai Putru, what's the name?
Sudha Gongara.
Sudha. Any other names you can think of?
Zoya Akhtar.
Right.
Please allow me to say
Yes,
something here with what Sarjun said. Let us not say it all the time like this, patriarchal, male dominant. It's very stereotypical, I think. We have been matriarchal, and we have created in our poetry, number of women poets from Avaya. We can quote from, from anywhere, from our literature and cinema. But the thing is, we have to be ready for our self-expressive modes, I would say. It can be we have to get ready for the battle. We have to get ready for fitting ourselves into this, male dominant structures and all. Leave it away, because we cannot come up with the same kind of reasons again and again. Right. I enjoy my journey. It is going to be tough for even Sarjun.
So what you're saying is that nothing stops women from becoming film.
Yeah, let us not go with the same norms like it is patriarchal, male dominant. Right. Let us let us transform it, because he has come up with many truths now.
That's right.
He has voiced out.
Last question to Sharanya. Does festivals like this, literary or literature festivals like this, help in any way to take this forward, to represent new voices, or to help India in that sense become a developed nation, with literature playing a key part in that?
Recently, there was a small controversy because there was an article in The Guardian about how India has so many lit fests and so few readers. And, that's
few readers.
Yes, so that's an invigorating discourse, and people can have different opinions on that. I, for one, am really glad that literary festivals exist. I'm glad that people come and pay attention. What I'm really hoping for, and what I think will happen, certainly today, I hope, is that the ideas that are shared on, in discussions like this are carried forward, and that people actually look up the books that, authors come to speak about. Because, as has already been discussed on this panel, the importance of reading cannot be underestimated. And it isn't even about, support the authors or so on, but enrich your own life by engaging with that work, because that relationship between reader and book is beautiful and intimate and sacred.
Last question. Do you think it's important Do you think it's important for young audience students to spend on a regular basis to buy books every month? We spend for OTT, we spend money for entertainment channels, food. It's also important to buy a book to develop that culture of reading.
Yes, it's very important to buy books as well, because we spend a lot on Netflix and whatnot. So a poetry book costs around 250, 300 maximum in India.
Also essays, also short stories, novels.
Yes, also the same for short stories and novels, for sure. I'm always talking about poetry. But for any kind of book of Indian literature, it costs just that much. And we spend so much buying a coffee at a cafe, a restaurant, and whatever. But what about the very intimate relation with books that Sharanya ma'am talked about? So that is something that we have to build. We have to know our own interests and what kind of writers, what kind of Indian literature that we like. That is something which we need to build, the young audience needs to build. So I think that is very important.
I think thank you very much. We can open the floor for our students and faculty to ask questions if they have any to any of the panelists. Thank you. Yeah, maybe somebody can pass the mic to them. How are we doing on time? Very nice, yeah.
A very good afternoon to sir and madam present. I'm Swaroop and my question is that is AI a boon or bane? Is it building our creativity or is it reducing or taking away our creativity in literature?
Do you want any one particular person to answer?
Anybody?
Anybody, yeah. AI a boon or a bane?
You know, it's a boon, I think, because I have been exploiting it hugely. It's your intention. What do you want to have out of it? That's it. I think literature is, we are going to reverse the entire journey, I think. We are going to go back to books. I'm very optimistic about it. DI and whatnot, let it come. But the passion, it is a different thing, I think. Literature is totally out of all these structure, you know. That's what I believe. We cannot compare literature with all these DEI, TV, OTT and things. Literature is very personal. It only empowers yourself. Thank you for the question.
Thank you, ma'am. What about Srijani, ma'am? What do you think about it, ma'am? Like, can we use it in poetry and can it be useful for making poetry?
I think poetry is very intimate, so poetry is not something that AI can really make because for poetry, I think authenticity is very important. It can give you ideas. It can produce certain ideas about what you want to write about. It can polish your writing, but it cannot bring out the catharsis or the emotions that you have. So I feel that poetic intelligence, or I would say that poetic creativity is something that comes from within you. It's about what you write. It's about what is very close to you. It's not what AI can do, perhaps.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank
you for your question. Any other questions?
Yeah, I hope I'm audible. Yeah.
Yes.
This question is for Sarjun sir. Avala Paditan, probably 30 years ago, and Bad Girl last year. What is the comparison? Where do you see feminism? Sorry, I'm shifting back to feminism because that's my forte as well. Where do you see feminism evolving in the upcoming years? What is your contribution towards it? You said it's a male-dominated society. Are you men, as sir asked, are you men trying to change it at all?
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Okay.
Last point?
Okay. Is there a contribution, conscious contribution from the male filmmakers?
I can't hear.
Can you repeat, ma'am? Can you repeat?
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
It's not very audible. It's not very audible.
Sure. Am I audible now? Appa.
So,
okay, cool. You heard the first part of my question, right? First part of my question? Please.
What was the last point you made earlier? The last part.
Okay. Can you hear me now? I don't know if the distance makes it. Okay, should I hold it closer? Is it better now?
No, it is being echoed.
Echoed.
These audience can hear me. You people can't hear me. Okay. Should I think I'll have to come on to the stage and speak to you and...
Yeah, it's fine.
Probably. Seri, appo enna pannanum? Yeah, we'll... Okay.
How do you see it?
Oh, idlinda mattum.
It's good, no, to receive these kind of questions.
I haven't thought about it.
See, they won't be soft like the moderator.
No. What is your stand? You're able to repeat
working now. Yeah, ma'am, you can try now.
Check.
Yes. Stage
I can ask you.
Yeah.
Now, Abala Padital, 30 years back. I guess you heard that part of the question. Bad girl in 2025. Okay, now how has feminism evolved and where do you see feminism going, let's say 10 years from now, in films? And as sir very rightfully asked, what are you doing to support female filmmakers? Okay, what is the contribution of everyone in the film industry to do away with the patriarchy or male dominance or whatever that exists right now?
Okay, I think it starts from writing strong female characters. It starts there. I mean, once we start writing, even Avala Pridan or Bad Girl or 100 other films that have come in between, we talk about them now here in a public forum because they have written something really substantial for women there. And there were directors who made sure to write strong characters. If you ask me how I'm going to do it, I will make sure that I will write strong characters only, and I will not dumb down women characters at any point. Even if it comes to a completely a mainstream reason, I'll make sure that I won't do it at all. So, and apart from that, I make sure that in my team I have equal number of men and women as my assistants. Always I do, and I make sure that I have a very safe environment for them where they can come forward and do what they want. They ask questions, they participate. I make sure that there is no bias for the male assistants or the female. So it is also a part of the ecosystem, because when it comes to industry as such, every film is a small pocket where inside both men and women are working for a particular project. So if we start there, and if the directors take efforts to write strong women characters, I think we don't even have to address this question of feminism going forward.
Any other questions?
Hello.
Yeah,
Sir,
go
could you
ahead.
hear
Yes.
me? No, I don't think so.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, I would like to go with one last question. Could you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. This question is all about writing poems, right? And I would like to know whether the true creativity in poetry, does it come from, does it come from discipline and craft, or from spontaneity and emotional impulse? Can you just personally tell me how you navigate the balance of these?
The thing about spontaneity is that only within discipline can it actually come out. If you aren't committed to your craft, if you don't carve out the time, the space, the energy for that to happen, you simply will not be able to pin down the emotion that is flowing from within you. This is one of those aspects that really determines whether a person remains passionate about any kind of creation. The world isn't designed for dreamers. It's not designed for people who only want to make art. So one has to work against that. And one way to do that is to just keep a certain amount of time, a certain amount of space. Find out how you can do this despite your other commitments, whether they're professional or personal, and then allow the magic to happen. So I would say
balance.
I would say the two work in tandem. It's not one or the other.
Yes. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
This is an extension of what Sharanya said about this poetry thing. You have to be conscious and awake and alert all the time. Being a poet is not an easy thing. You have to have an entirely a different session for it, different panel for it. I would always say poetry shouldn't be merged or mingled with other art forms at all. and you have to claim your language, the power from your language, so that makes you. And one more thing, you should be able to connect with any person in the world. It's an important thing. You are not that person only if you are writing poetry. You have to be able to multiply yourself. You have to be able to connect yourself with the whole world. It's totally a different process, I would say. It's not just spontaneity, discipline, and you know the language. You yourself should become a movement, of holding the language as your power. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, one last question. Please go ahead, yeah. Somebody's raising the... Okay, just give him a chance. Can you come forward? Yeah. I can understand, yeah. Quickly, yeah. I think, yeah. I don't know. He's gone. More than an hour.
Should I go up and ask them directly? Yes. My question is that as writers, directors, filmmakers, poets, journalists, you have a lot of say in like what society and lot of influence on what society does. But you're not the only people. Other writers and directors and other film artists, they also have a reverse way. They try to hold these things. How do you combat these things and put a society forward and like keep it in, and the people who are keeping it in clutch? Like how do you like find ways to put society forward than like constantly like holding to other people's agendas and all?
I think what you asked is there in every country, all over the world, in every society, I think starting from the historic times. So when a particular set of people takes the society 10 steps in the front, there are always 20 people, another group who pulls it back. Because I would say that this particular thing, what you're saying, I am fascinated in a way that we are all different. You're different, I'm different, the way I'm brought up is different, you're different. And the kind of ideologies or the ideas that develop inside you since childhood is different, and the way I'm brought up is different. So in a way, I think we should embrace that rather than seeing it as a fight. So I propagate something, I like something, I express something in a particular way, hoping that it connects with people, and when it connects, and I get 10 more people on my side. But you have exactly an opposite opinion, and you feel strongly about it, and there will be another 20 people who will definitely support your idea and opinion, and they'll come behind you. I think this is a balance rather than trying to figure out how to fight and then keep a balance. This has to happen, this will happen, because that is how we are all conditioned as human beings. So I think we should embrace this. That is my answer. Not convinced? Kind of.
Kind of. Like you guys emphasized on the freedom of expression nowadays being extremely limited. You are unable to like get your ideas forward, and also I was, in that sense also I forgot to put that in my question as well. That the freedom of expression is limited. How can you convey your ideas better against this already clushed up environment?
No, but I would say, you see the good side of it. 20 years back, you did not have Twitter. You did not have Instagram, where anybody can go and put your opinion out there, expression out there. Correct. So you are talking about freedom of expression. That is the next step. But at least now that we have got avenues to say out what we feel inside, which was not there 20 years back, 30 years back. You need to write to a magazine, or you need to go and sit in an interview for a television to say what you want. But now anybody, anywhere can say what they want. Correct. Ma'am, you want to add anything? Yeah.
So, I agree, and I also have something to add. Difference of opinion is a healthy thing in a pluralistic society, but where it becomes problematic is when some ideas are punished and people are persecuted, there are bans, and these are unfortunately incidents that have been happening in India as well as elsewhere in the world. Which is why when I answered the question earlier about being a newspaper columnist, I said it is a privilege in this day and age to have a platform. I'm very aware that these platforms are shrinking and there is a higher level of fear which can lead to self-censorship in many people who create. But you keep doing it anyway. It isn't that you have to win every argument. Sometimes there will be extreme disappointments on a public level. Sometimes you will see, for example, a recent example that's happened here in India, the highest possible honor being conferred on a person who has multiple allegations of assault and harassment against him. And then you, as a writer, as a woman, you see this happening and you know that you're feeling pain on multiple levels, and so is everyone who has been affected personally or philosophically by that. But you don't stop. You don't stop speaking truth to power, even if you cannot convince the people around you on an immediate level.
Good on.
I would like to thank my wonderful panelists for their time and for being so candid, forthright, and bold. Thank you very much. Kutti Revathi, Sharanya, Sarjun, and Srijani. Can we all give them a big round of applause, please?
We extend our heartfelt appreciation to our distinguished panelists, Dr. Kutti Revathi, Ms. Sharanya Manivannan, Mr. Sarjun K, and Ms. Srijani Mitra for sharing such powerful insights, perspectives, and experiences with us today. Our sincere thanks also to our moderator, Mr. Sam Daniel, for guiding this engaging and meaningful conversation so thoughtfully. Your ideas and reflections have truly enriched this evening, reminding us of the enduring power of literature, cinema, and storytelling. May I now request Dr. L. Kavita Nair, Head of the Department, to come on to the stage. I now request Dr. L. Kavita Nair to felicitate Mr. J. Sam Daniel Stalin. May I now request Dr. L. Kavita Nair to felicitate Dr. Kutti Revathi. I now request Dr. L. Kavita Nair to felicitate Ms. Sharanya Manivannan. I now request Kavita ma'am to felicitate Mr. Sarjun K. May I now request Kavita ma'am to felicitate Ms. Srijani Mitra. Thank you so much. Now we cordially request our dignitaries to take the front row in the audience to experience the next spectacular cultural performance. I request the volunteers to help the guests.